Wicked mini paintings. Yeah. What is up, everyone? My name is Brent Lee and welcome to Wicked Mini Painting How to Paint Tutorials. With this tutorial, I'll be showing you guys how to paint an eye. We're going to be freehanding some eye work with painting on an actual miniature on a flat surface. It's kind of like canvas painting. So when anybody tells you that, oh, that's nice freehand work, the freehand means that there is no details. There is no pressed in pieces on the figure that you're doing. It's just a flat surface, and then you're going to be implying your art onto that piece. And that's what is referred to as freehand. So we're going to go and kick in onto this. We're going to be working on that Thousand Suns, just like on the previous video that I did about non-metallic metal gold. This thing will be the same thing, but we're just going to be doing some freehand work on an eye on a staff. So if I am also, just to let you guys know, I am a Twitch streamer. So if you guys want to see some live content, which is awesome, go over onto Twitch and go to Wicked Mini Painting. And I stream Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 5 to 9 Pacific Standard Time. And then anything else, I will be letting you guys know in the description below. If anything else that you guys have questions about, want other video, other content, please leave a comment down below. And another big huge thing, hit that subscribe button, like it, hit the notification bell when new content comes out. And until then, without further ado, let's get our wicked on. Alright guys, we're gonna be sitting here getting into the painting part here for painting the eye. So we're gonna actually be doing a freehand work on the eyeball right here. I think it's like a great little piece here that I see a lot with just like gems, but I wanted to actually paint eyeballs. There's actually one on each side, but on this tutorial here I'm going to show you just the one side on how to do the eye. So but before we get started, I'm going to show you the colors I'll be using. I'll make sure that everything's all on the description below so you guys can get onto any of this. So we're going to cover the whole base with a black, so I'm using AK Interactive black. And then to get the kind of fleshy part of an eye, I'm going to use Monument Hobbies Pro Acryl, which I absolutely love this paint. So if you haven't tried it, I really recommend it. I'll make sure to have the link down below. I'm also sponsored by them too, so you can use Wicked Minis on your online order and knock a little discount off and give this a shot. So we're going to use tan flesh when we go over the base of the eye. We'll probably put a little bit of ivory into that just to kind of brighten up the eye to getting that kind of that white fleshness to it. The iris, we're going to do blue, and the reason why is because the other parts, I already painted a couple eyeballs already on the figure, so we're going to, and already have it with blue eyes. So we're going to still keep it consistently with the eyes. We're going to be highlighting, so that one was with blue, and then this one here is sky blue. And then also we'll probably paint a little bit of veins in the eye since we got pretty good surface coverage there to paint an eyeball. So we'll probably use a little bit of burnt red for the veins. And then so with that, let's go ahead and start laying out the paints and start getting this thing painted up. So I'm using a little wet palette. This one here is from Army Painter. These are the ones that I always do my YouTube videos with. But we're going to sit here and throw just a little bit of paint. You don't need a whole lot. Okay? There's a little bit of each one. We'll sit here and we'll put, that one there was the tan flesh. And then here's a little bit of the ivory. Okay. Then a little bit of yellow ochre. And yellow ochre is just going to give a little bit of coloration in the iris when we get to that point, and I will definitely show you guys where that goes. And then we're going to be using the blue for the iris. And Sit here and hit up a little bit of sky blue, be next. And the thing is I wanted to make this thing kind of raw videos, so no editing of any sorts. So we're going to sit here and do some burnt red. Just need a little bit of that. And then we're going to go with the AK black. And I like the AK black. It's a nice matte finish. Scale has a great black. I even like Army Painter's black. Pro Acryl has a coal black, which is a very matte black, which there's nothing wrong with that one either. I like that color too, but for what we're doing today, this is the colors I'm using. These are the recipe, but you can make the iris any color you want. You can go yellow and orange or whatever, but so these are the colors we're using. We're not going to be using any other techniques, but just straight out just painting the eye. Everything, a lot of paints just require just a little bit of water, so just add it from your brush right onto your onto the palette and kind of fill out the paint a little bit. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is go right into some black, and then I have this on this swivel brass piece here, but let's go ahead and just kind of color all this in. You can see that the rest of this work is still not complete on this figure. I've been doing this on the Twitch stream, so if you guys are wanting to find out more about how I'm working on this model, make sure you come by on Twitch. I'll make sure to have that down on the description link below. But yeah, let's get a nice, good, smooth surface here. Make sure that there's no discrepancies in colors. Just kind of get this thing just colored all beautiful and black. Okay. Okay, so now we got this nice black finish on the eye. So the next color we're going to be going into will be that tan flesh. It has a unique color to it, so it has a little bit of that pink, a little bit of like ivory mixed into it. I like always starting with the eye with that base, because also this thing's like from Chaos, right? So I just wanted to make sure that we have kind of this red eye, you know, good depth into the eye. So we'll take some of this tan flesh. Okay. And then we'll cover the whole thing. And you can see that it still has a little bit of a transparency to it. So you're going to see a little bit of that black underneath. So we want to make sure that this thing's a solid color all the way through, covering all of the black. Okay, and sometimes it'll take a couple coats for that. 2, 3 coats, nice and thin. Let's make sure that we can get this thing completely covered. Looks like we're gonna have to go for a third coat. which that's fine. Just gotta give that a minute. And you can see, like in my previous videos, I have done non-metallic gold, so I'll make sure that the link is under there also for my other YouTube video of how to do non-metallic metal gold. But till then, we're gonna sit here and wait just a little bit longer. Make sure that your paint job is dry. Reload my brush up. There we go. Now we got all that black covered. Now it's just one big solid eye. Okay? We need a little bit more. There's a little spot that I kind of missed. It's right on the under part of the eye. So I'm going to utilize like those gold pieces as like they're going to be like the bottom part of the lid. There we go. Much better. So now I'm going to go back into some black. Now, when I'm doing this, I'm going to try to take the center of the eye. Okay? Now, most of your eyeballs, when you look at it, your top of your iris always kind of goes closer to the top part of your lid, like the eyelid. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of start here in the center and kind of make this. This is going to be like, it's not like just making a pupil, okay? I'm just kind of making a starting point. And I'm going to go into a circular pattern. And try to make it as even as possible. And then start working this circle all the way around. And since we got quite a bit of space on this eye, we can really make this iris quite large. And I started from the center and worked my way out. I'm just kind of giving this thing a little bit of a center of an appeal, but this is the iris in its totality, so all of it together. I like that. That looks pretty good. It's relatively even, pretty smooth, and we got the whole center of the iris there with a nice good even amount of eye flesh on both sides and utilizing this spike point down the center. Okay. Now we're going to go into some blue. I'm going to drop myself down to like a number 1 so I can get a little bit more of a finer point. I'll just sit there and try to get paint to come off the brush. And what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to just start drawing lines. You're going to be making like little V lines everywhere. It's alright, and utilize that black that's underneath too. to give you some depth under the eyes. So now what we're doing is that we're just coloring the iris part, and you can always feed in more black for the pupil part. And all we're trying to do here is just kind of give that wicked look in the eyes. When you actually look at somebody's iris, you'll see that it has like kind of these like V marks. I'm still keeping a lot of that black shadows for the very close base here. Okay. So there's part of that eye. We can actually extend out those lines just a little bit further into the base of these, into the flesh of the eye. Okay. See if I can zoom in just a little bit closer for you guys. There you go. Now you can kind of see like the slight messiness in the iris, which that's fine. It doesn't have to be uniform, because even if you look at your own irises, they're not necessarily the same. So now I'm going to take this sky blue and I'm going to start streaking some little brighter highlights into this. I don't want to completely cover over the saturation of the blue, so I'm just kind of giving it just a little spice in the eyes. That. Okay. Now I'm going to go back into the black again, and then we're going to start the pupil. Now the pupil will be right in the dead center of what we're working on, and just like we did with the whole iris and everything, we're going to kind of just work in a circular motion. All the way around. You can see the eye in the center. Okay. Pretty nice. Okay. Now I'm going to go into a little bit of this yellow ochre. And the reason I'm going to do this yellow ochre is that I'm just going to give a little bit more dimension in the eye. So this is actually going to work around the pupil. Okay. And we're just going to give it just a little bit more flair. Like that, a little flare around the pupil. Okay. Now I'm going to take some of this ivory, that we have. Okay. I'm going to take some of this ivory. I'm going to mix it a little bit with that tan flesh, so we can kind of brighten up the eye, like the eye flesh. And we're going to kind of try and smooth out, kind of fix up a little bit of the roundness of the eye. Like the iris part, kind of covering up a little bit of the iris part. Just to get a little bit more roundish. The roundish, if I can actually speak properly. Alright, now you got an eye, but it's still not entirely done yet, okay? There's two ways you can go about this eyeball. Alright, the first thing is that we got to make it look, now it's an eye, yes, but it's still not, it looks like dry eyes. We need to put some eye drops in it, okay? You can go with one route and use like a gloss varnish. And put a gloss varnish over it, and it'll make the eye look very wet, okay? But the thing is that when you have a gloss varnish on there, it's not really controlling the reflection on the eye, so every time that the light is going to be reflecting off of it, you're going to see like a reflection going from here, and then you're going to turn it, it's going to have a reflection going on to the other side. And since I'm doing all this non-metallic metal that's going to be happening all through this staff, I'm just going to do a wet eye by actually giving reflections of my own to make it look like it's wet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, like in my previous video when I was talking about glazing, okay, so we're going to take this ivory, we're going to glaze it down until it's like very, very watery. We're going to pull off the moisture, and then we're going to get something that's relatively like that. Okay, very transparent. Okay, real transparent, very watered down, and then we're gonna apply this to the eye. What you want to do here is I kind of want to make where this thing has a round section that kind of goes from deep up to the point and then deep back down again. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take part of this eye. Let me get some more of this on my brush. When I started explaining, it kind of goes haywire here. So I'm going to take some of this all the way to the pupil. Okay, and then I'm just going to draw a line all the way across right into the flesh of the eye. Now it's going to be going on extremely thin. Okay, so you want to kind of build up those layers because I want that transparency. I want the colors underneath to bleed through the white, because if it's just a straight out white line, it's gonna look little anime kind of style all the way to the pupil. Okay, now and then the other side we're gonna make kind of a circular pattern right in between the iris and the flesh of the eye. Okay, and then we're going to keep going back and forth with this until we get a nice transparent glossy version of an eye that we painted. So now you can kind of start seeing a reflection pattern that's coming across the eye here, right? And then right over here, right where the iris and the flesh of the eye. And then if it looks a little too off for you, you can always go back. That's the thing. You can always go back to your previous colors. Like if it's too wide. So now when you turn this, you can see that it's, no matter where I turn it, the reflection never changes. It's always going to have that glossiness to it. We'll put a little bit right down here too. Right by the iris. Straight across. The reason why I'm touching that pupil is making it look like, instead of just having the flesh part of the eye look glossy, you want it to go all the way to the actual pupil, bringing it all the way across so there looks like an actual gloss wet look into it. Go. Now it's starting to formulate. It takes about 3-4 coats of transparent, or glaze, I mean. That transparency that's in the glaze. Kind of feeding that up real good. And just like so. And there you have it. Look at that. Wasn't that easy? Super fast, super easy. A beautiful eyeball. And then we just did some transparent glaze coats with just ivory right over top of the eye. Okay? Now, here, let's go into... freehand work, painting an eyeball in, putting a little bit of veins. I think we could probably put a little bit more veins in there. Here, we got to touch this one little spot right up here. There we go. Just a little bit right up on the top part there. Okay. A little bit more of that glaze, of that transparent, of that ivory. Kind of put it right over top of that red. So it shows that it has a glaze right over top. And then that's it right there. And you got that wet look in the eye. with just a couple little teaser tricks right there. Very simple, very easy. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And like again, hit that subscribe button, like it, hit the notification bell, and for a new YouTube video. And then on top of it too, I am also a Twitch content creator that paints these guys online. So go on twitch.tv/wickedminipainting, and I'll make sure to have all those links down there below and the paints that I was using. Till then guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.